Hey, welcome to Almost Serious Devs. This is my first video. On this channel, we're going to build very simple, almost done project just to practice Flutter. No, we're not pretending to build the next Silicon Valley startup. At this juncture, if you've been coding since Zeus was writing JavaScript on Stone Tablet, this video is not for you. Today, we're building a very simple calorie checker. You enter a number, it gives you a status, that's it. Earlier, we created a new Flutter project called Calories Checker. We'll migrate to the folder in VS Code. We go to main.dat. Flutter gives us a default code. We're going to get rid of that now. Then we'll import material.dat. Everything before this point is necessary for Flutter to run, but we'll talk about that properly in another video. We'll create a class. At first, I used stateless widget because I just wanted to design the UI, the look of the app. A stateless widget does not change. A stateful widget changes when something in the UI updates. In our case, the result will change, its color will change, so it has to be a stateful widget. If something changes, it belongs to the state. That's the law of Doyle. We override build method. The build method runs every time Flutter needs to redraw the screen. Inside the build, we return a scaffold. Think scaffold as a full page structure. It gives us the app bar, the body, the background color, general layout. We designed the app bar text app bar, yes, and we gave it a title. The title text a widget, and we used the text widget. We designed it. We gave it a color, the font size, font weight, and the blue background color. In here, I made a mistake. I wrapped my scaffold in a column, and that is a bad practice. Scaffold is the big picture. It represents the entire screen layout. Inside the body, we use widget. Everything in Flutter is a widget. If we need spaces between widgets, we use sized box. Sized box is basically an empty box that creates spaces. Here, when we run the program, we realize that nothing is showing up in the screen, and that's because we need to pass the class in the material app. So here, then when it runs, we get an error, and that's because we wrap the scaffold in a colon. Here we will design the text field. Text field allows us to input something. We added in text to guide the users. Keyboard type is set to numbers, so only number shows. Input decoration, just the UI styling. Then we wrap it in a padding. We give it a value and also wrapped it in sized box. Of course, padding adds breathing space to a widget, and size box ensures a static demarcation of a space. Width is set to infinity, so it stretches as much as it can. Again, the height is set to a definite number, and the width is double dot infinity, so it stretches as much as it can. Then at first the height was small, so I felt obliged to increase it until I was satisfied with it. Error 83. Again, there is a text field to leave empty spaces between the text field and button. Elevator button is a widget for a clickable button, and its required onPress property performs the action we set when the button is pressed. To design the button UI, we use elevator button.start from. That's how things like background color, size, shape changes. Now we're done with the UI, let's move to the logic and the leave in the state class. Inside the state class, we create a string for result test, a color variable, and we went back to elevator button to alter the style a little. Then a text editing controller. The controller is important. Text field lets users type. Controller saves what they type. Without controller, we cannot access the input. Now let's get to the function, the main part. Then a function will be called calories function. The first job of this function is to take the user's input, which is what the users typed in text field, and convert it into an integer, because normally text field takes a string. Then we use into try parse controllers to text tries to convert the text into an integer. If it fails, we get a null. And there is another very special widget called Scaffold Messenger. It is an efficient looking widget that springs up below anytime a wrongly filled form online. It shows snack bar. I'm still learning the syntax myself. That's fine. We're learning together. Inside the calories function, we'll create a set state. Set state just tells Flutter something changed, update UI. Inside set state, we just update some things like result as the result color, depending on the conditions. For example, if calories are too low, red text. If the calories are normal, the text is reading in green, and else another color. These conditions are basics, and the ranges are just for practice. Then we'll pass the calories function into the unpressed property of the elevated button. Oops, I just discovered I made a mistake there. I will include everything in the description. And then there is an occasional text widget below that shows when a text is updated. Then we're done. This video is not perfect. It was hasty, but I'm posting it anyway. We'll improve as we go. Thank you all so much for watching.